Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Day 9, and this is the After Hours Gaming League Season 2, Week 1 recap. For any of you lovely newcomers to the AHGL, 30 top companies duke it out on the virtual battlefield for the chance to win a $5,000 prize donated to the charity of their choice. As we take a look at the divisions, there's only been 1 week of action in the league thus far, so nobody is out of the running yet. Each of these teams is trying to battle for a chance to be in the top 3 spots in their respective divisions. You may recognize some familiar faces from Season 1, and you may recognize all the rest of the names if you have spent any time on the planet Earth. Get ready to cheer for your favorite companies, as we now take some of those results and standings and talk about exactly what happened. And now it's time for the AHGL Week 1 highlights, beginning with Qualcomm versus Dropbox. Though Qualcomm took the victory 3-1, it was that one win by Dropbox's Talon that showed some fancy flair. Starts off with Sora, the purple Protoss from Qualcomm in the top left, going for the Robo Colossus play, while Talon, the Dropboxing Protoss in festive green down in the bottom right, opens with a little bit of blink harassment, but manages to land an incredible Warp Prism Zealot drop at the back of the Qualcomm Protoss's base. Despite all the damage dealt to that probe line, the Qualcomm Protoss still had an enormous army, and the Dropbox Protoss was looking to be in a little bit of trouble. But of course, as the age-old mantra goes, if you ever feel behind, just build a dark shrine. And once the DTs came up onto the field, the Qualcomm Protoss had to tap out. Despite that loss, Qualcomm managed to take the victory in the series overall 3-1. In other AHGL Week 1 action, we have Zynga versus Shopify. Zynga, the second place team from last season, demonstrating why they are such a potent threat for Season 2 up against the newcomers Shopify. Zynga takes down the series 3-1, but not without some incredible battle in action. In game number 3, ShamWow, one of Zynga's ace players, up against Odie, who didn't just go air. Much like a Zen monk, he committed his life to air, building many a Void Ray Phoenix, even opening up 2-gate Zealot, hurling everything he could, but right before the final battle, all those mass Phoenixes got killed off by a Hydra Infestor Blast, and the Protoss Colossus Deathball just didn't quite seem to be enough. Zynga takes the series 3-1. And our last highlight match of the week comes from Epic versus Mozilla, 2 brand new teams, and Epic coming right out the gate in style with a solid 3-0 victory led by Crabtastic in game number 1. The opponent, Orange from Mozilla, opens with a 2-reactor Hellion and immediately pops into the Marine tank aggression, but Crabtastic not only held that push off, but responded with a 12-minute Hive Tech off 3 bases, and won a solid, convincing win with a mass of 2/2 Lings, Infestors, and Ultras. And with some of those Week 1 highlights said and done, it is time for the highlight match of the week: the reigning champion Microsoft against the newcomers Electronic Arts. The match began game number 1 on Antigua Shipyard with the Zerg player Megumi X Bear from Microsoft against the Blue Protoss player Gasty from Electronic Arts. Rather than go for the usual triple expand mass roach play, the Zerg from Microsoft opted for a very quick Spire in the style of Damaga, populating the map with many a spine crawler and expanding as much as he could. The Electronic Arts Protoss opted for the strong, slow, and sturdy style of many Blink Stalkers, expanding as he was able to find out what his opponent was doing, but in the usual course of ZVP these days, Mutalisks darting all around the map kept Gasty contained until soon enough, the Microsoft Zerg held the entire map and won the game with an overwhelming amount of Mutalisks. Microsoft up 1-0. In game number 2, we had Heresy from Team Microsoft against Mava from Team EA on Arid Plateau, a TVT that was all about careful positioning for much of the first half of the game. The Marine Marauder force from Mava desperately tried to find some hole in the defensive mech tank line of Heresy, but there seemed to be no way for that bio player to crack the strong mech lines. But Mava outpatienced his opponent, waiting for just the right time to strike. Heresy advanced forward, sieged his tank up a little bit too aggressively, and a ninja group of marauders ran up for a fast snipe at the critical third expansion of Heresy. As the Red Microsoft Terran was trying to find his footing, it seems that Meva had a plan in store that involved a little bit of fusion core dancing. Battlecruisers popped onto the map, completely taking the Microsoft Terran off guard, and as it turns out, Tank Banshee is not the most effective counter to battlecruisers. EA ties the series up 1-1. In game number 3, Microsoft sends out their ace player, Cow's Rule, to go up against EA's newcomer, Monophonic. Cow's Rule begins the match in style with a successful hatch into Evolution Chamber block at the Protoss expansion. And in case you didn't remember, broodlings that pop out of Evolution Chambers are always a threat to that initial cannon. Cow's Rule gets the opportunity to sneak some Zerglings into the Protoss main and immediately begin wreaking some havoc. Monophonic, the EA Blue Protoss, tries to find a way to come back into the game with an epic 6-gate 1-robo push, but unfortunately the delay in his economy and Cow's Rule's ability to build roaches end up being a little bit too much. Microsoft leads the series 2-1. Words can hardly describe how insane Game 4 was in EA versus Microsoft, so let's try to describe it using words. Microsoft sends out their master Terran player Bay, one of their regulars, marking a ton of wins last season. On the other side, EA sends out Plastic, the only diamond player in the entire lineup for this match. Bay tries to open up with the usual Shakura's triple bunker wall and almost guaranteed kill on a neighboring hatchery. Unfortunately for Bay, Plastic has some sort of marathon running creep that barely got to the entrance in time to prevent the inevitable catastrophe of that triple bunker play. Things settled down and swung into all macro mode, until Plastic decided to attack Bay's front the exact moment Bay decided to drop Plastic's back. Though Plastic lost his main base and a lot of vital tech structures, the Microsoft Terran lost nearly every single one of his workers. As both players tried to regain their footing, it seems as though Plastic opened up Husky StarCraft's YouTube channel to listen to the song Banelings, because virtually every attack that Plastic did for the remainder of the game consisted of only Banelings. But keep in mind, too many Banelings is never enough. The front door was busted down again and again and again, and Bay seemed as though he was inches away from stabilizing until a key blast of Banelings busted the third expo down, and Bay was left with no more places to mine. The debut Diamond Leaguer Plastic helps his team EA tie the series up 2-2 as we go on to the ace match. With the series tied up 2-2, EA and Microsoft did not mess around. Microsoft sending out their ace player Cow's Rule, the best player on their team, against Meva, the ace Terran from EA. The game was as tense and standard as it gets. On Tal'Darim Altar in the top right, it looked as though Meva was doing his Startail Bomber impersonation, opening up with Hellions and transitioning into a very fast third command center, following it up with the standard mix of Marines and tanks. Cow's Rule looked unusually defensive at the start of the game, with a surprising amount of Banelings and 2 spine crawlers at the back of his natural expansion, clearly worried about some kind of early tank push coming to ruin his day. Fortunately, that defensive preparation from Cow's Rule helped him out bucket loads, with the first push of Meva steamrolled by the enormous force of Cow's Rule. But Meva knows the famous Terran fable, if at first you don't succeed, expand, expand again. With the third plopped down, the relentless Marine tank aggression from Meva never let up, though Cow's Rule had just enough to defend each push again and again and again. Meva successfully picked off an expansion here, a few drones there, while constantly taking more bases of his own. After securing the rightmost natural expansion and the northern 4th base, Meva looked in a seemingly unstoppable position, and Cow's Rule slowly dwindled away, battle after battle after battle. In the final few minutes of the game, Meva pulls an incredible whirl of aggression, hitting multiple expansions at once, and once Cal's Rule realized that there was no more income coming in, he said it was time to go. Good game, Meva secures a narrow 3-2 victory over the reigning champions of the AHGL Season 1. With the highlight match of the week said and done, it is time for what you have all been waiting for. It is the Cheese of the Week, and the award will go to Sick from Rapid Share in his Game 2 series versus Minjit's FactSet. The game on Arid Plateau began with Minjit from FactSet taking himself a relatively fast expansion. Sick, on the other hand, opting for the usual Ling Baneling aggression. Ordinarily, it's time for heavy micro, beautiful displays of tactics with Banelings and Zerglings, but instead Sick just builds a spine crawler on his opponent's base and pretty much hopes that he doesn't notice. As it turns out, Hope is an extremely powerful resource in StarCraft 2, and Sick is able to sneak that spine crawler directly over to the worker line of Minjit and begin poking away. Though Minjit has more than enough to be able to withstand the spine crawler in his main, Sick swings some Zerglings in the front for a two-pronged attack. The combination play successfully gives him 4 drone kills, amazingly granting him the economic lead. Sick proceeds to pile up more Lings and Banelings to the best of his ability, and after one beautiful pop at the top of Minjit's ramp, all the FactSet Zerg can do is type GG and give Rapid Share the win. And that wraps up the AHGL Week 1 recap. For all the information related to AHGL, go to ahgl.tv for cast replays and those sexy suave player profiles. Follow us on Twitter, do the Facebook thing, and we look forward to seeing you in week number 2 with an insane set of matches, including Zynga versus Epic, Nvidia versus LinkedIn, Intel versus Twitch TV, and Amazon versus AMD. See you then. I'm Day9, and I'm out.